So today, the Supreme Court heard probably one of the most important arguments for the next decade, and it was concerning the president's executive order to overturn birthright citizenship. Except technically, it wasn't about the birthright citizenship concept. Instead, the focus was nationwide injunctions. Daria, what are nationwide injunctions? Well, they're basically court orders issued by a federal district judge that blocks a policy, a law, or in this case, an executive order. And that court ruling applies across the entire United States, not just within the judge's district or even circuit. And I'll be honest with you, they're pretty controversial. When I was in law school, there was discussion on both the right and the left about not liking them, because it essentially gives immense power to one judge to block a president's initiative. President Obama wasn't a fan of them. And if you take a look at this chart, you can see that they've increased over the last 20 years. With DJT being the outlier and having the most. Another reason they're a problem is because they encourage this thing called forum shopping. Now, stick with me, it's basically what the name suggests. Plaintiffs go shopping for a district or judge that they know will be sympathetic to their case. So, for example, say you have a civil rights case. You're probably going to want to file that in San Francisco, which is considered liberal, as opposed to a place like Beaumont, Texas, where you're more likely to get a Republican or conservative judge. And that's basically what DJT's lawyers argued in court today. Why, for instance, should a judge in Wisconsin get to set the laws for the whole country? It was 2 hours of arguments and the judges were going back and forth a lot. Even the conservative members seemed to be weighing the options. At one point, Justice Brett Kavanaugh offered an alternative approach and said that perhaps class action lawsuits, where all those who were affected by DJT's laws would be a better avenue. Still, he seemed to be grappling with the birthright citizenship part. He questioned DJT's lawyers on how this would even work. What would a hospital do when a baby is born? How would the parents prove that they're citizens? Would the baby just not get a birth certificate? And the president's lawyer couldn't really give him a straight answer. Justices Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas seemed more inclined to get rid of nationwide injunctions. And to be clear, if nationwide injunctions are removed, that would mean each parent or person would have to file individually in court, which is not only expensive, they would need to get a lawyer, it would also take a long time. And it could lead to a situation where you have birthright citizenship in New York, but not in Florida, which is a point Justices Kagan and Sotomayor seem to highlight. Based on the arguments today, it looks like it could go either way. And it's likely that nationwide injunctions will be curbed to some extent, perhaps with the court establishing guidelines on where they think it's proper and improper. The justice system is one of the last branches holding the line against some of the unconstitutional acts by the administration. So if the judge's powers are limited by the Supreme Court, that would be a major win for DJT.